A 3 News Reid research poll shows New Zealanders remain opposed to the government's planned asset sales. Prime Minister John Key said a year ago he had work to do to convince the public of his policy. But his critics say tonight's poll shows he's failed. Political editor Duncan Garner reports.
They're prime strategic assets owned by Kiwi taxpayers, energy companies that pay hundreds of millions of dollars a year in dividends to the government.
1, 2, 3, 4 asset sales out that door.
The government selling 49% of each of them, but it struggled to sell the plan to voters, even guessing last week what they might be worth, perhaps $6 billion.
It's not our best guess. It's just a guess. Okay? It's just to put some numbers in that look like they might be roughly right for forecasting purposes.
So we asked 1,000 voters in a special 3 News Reid research poll whether they agreed with the partial privatisations. 62% disagreed, 35% agreed, just 3.5% didn't know.
They should stop kidding themselves, face up to the fact that it's the worst possible type of government policy. You're selling high-paying assets, high-rewarding assets for some economic reason that you can't explain to the public. That's silly politics.
A year ago, 60% disagreed with the sales, and that's when John Key said this.
It does show you that we've got a job to continue to do to make sure that New Zealanders understand the merits of this program.
Key wouldn't be interviewed today, but Tony Ryle says it will take a couple more years for people to be convinced of the benefits.
We always said it was going to be controversial, but there are a lot of upsides to what the government's proposing. Not only does it help us control debt, it provides savings opportunities, it helps thicken up the New Zealand capital markets.
And even national voters aren't overly impressed with the plan. 64% agree with asset sales, but 32%, that's 1 in 3 national voters, disagree. The asset sales policy has become a real problem for National, and it's starting to have an impact on John Key's personal popularity with voters too. The Prime Minister set himself a test a year ago to convince the public, but on tonight's evidence they appear underwhelmed and unconvinced. Duncan Garner, 3 News.